everyone. Welcome to 1 Million Cups. I hope you got yours. We got a lot of more coffee out there, so don't be shy. As you've noticed, our fearless live streamer is not here today, so Justice is stepping in and he's going to do the best he can, while fighting the shakes. So if the video that we'll post later on is a little queasy, jumpy and crazy, you can blame him. But thank you for doing that, Justice. Hopefully you don't cramp while that goes on. Exactly. So I've missed you guys, even though I was gone last week. I was following the entire chatter on Twitter, so that was kind of cool. And so for those, just by show of hands, who's here for the first time? Anyone here for the first time? Wonderful. Well, welcome. I appreciate he does that every time. He's been here for 9 months. Just in case you get fooled, don't get fooled. This is a collaborative effort by the community to help our entrepreneurs. So in the room we have Shay. Shay, you want to shake your hand? Whatever. Over there we have David. And we have our newbie right here. Alex is in the house. I'm Ron, for those who don't know me. And somewhere in Kansas City, but she can't see us right now, there's Nancy. So real quickly, this is for entrepreneurs, by entrepreneurs, it's community driven. This is not Shark Tank, this is Guppy Tank. So we're here to help you guys grow and enhance your experience and showcase what is happening in our community. So without any further ado, what I'd like to have is our first presenter come up to the stage and tell us their story. Who's first?
Doc and Lock.
Doc and Lock. There you go. Welcome.
I really don't think I need this, do I, folks?
Yeah, you do. The way he's recording, you
okay.
Hear you better.
Okay. Probably this may scare me a little bit. Unfortunately, my son was scheduled to be here this morning. He called me last night about 9 o'clock, and due to circumstances out of our control, he was unable to make it. So he gave me a call and said, Dad, you need to take a ride to Orlando tomorrow morning to put on a presentation. So here I am.
Awesome.
So bear with me. One of the reasons why I kind of gave my card out to everybody as you were coming in was that at the end of this, and you have an opportunity to go up on my website, and when you do, and you go to the investor page, if you click on DNL 4465, that'll take you to read our executive summary. And for those of you who are not or want to be entrepreneurs, you got to know that an executive summary, you change almost by the hour. Especially as you start to get down to the wire like we are with Doc and Lock. So I invite you to go to that page, kind of look at it. You'll see exactly where we are after an 8-year run from inception. Jeff not being here, I'm going to ad-lib a little bit. Jeff had wrote out a script. I'm not a script guy, mostly family and friends at the early stages. We are so lucky in the last 2 years that my son came on board to run the company. Running the company, you have to have a tenacity, especially for a startup. Jeff went to RPI as an engineer business major. He did very well at college. He got a great job after he left, but as soon as he left college, for the first year as an engineer, I got a call, and I was starting to get closer to retirement for myself, which I did almost 36 years with Verizon. I retired in 2002. Jeff said to me, Dad, I got a raise. It looks good for next year. That's the good news. The bad news is I'm going to leave. I don't want to be an engineer anymore. I want to go to culinary school. And everybody said to me, wow, isn't that great that your son found his passion? Well, from $60,000 right out of the get-go from RPI to $13 an hour, after a year of culinary school, I didn't quite get it. But he was in Florida, and he was close to me. He started to hear a little bit about what I was doing with my company, and I started to pique his interest for a few years that I had been in this. So he's been for 2 years, I've been in this for 8. So the first 5 years, there was a lot of discussions about Doc and Lock and what it did. It's a distracted driving solution is what it is. It's plain and simple. And as an entrepreneur, you just don't wake up one day, you do wake up one day with an idea. but it's all about what you've done before that brings you to an idea that takes you on a journey. And my journey was later in life. So I was about 62. I had retired early at 57. 36 years with the phone company. I had a great buyout. Life was good. But there was something that kind of clicked in, and it had to do with seeing people driving and not abiding by the rules or the law. And so, being that I had this little cushion of a buyout money that was tucked away, I said, why don't I just think about kind of maybe discovering if there's any patents going on with something very simple to solve a complex problem, and that is locking the phone away. And so I went to a patent attorney in Lee, Massachusetts, and when I walked in, I told him about having an idea. He gave me the full brunt, as you folks, if in fact you're going to go to see a patent attorney, are going to find out. When somebody's very honest with you, they'll tell you that, as he told me, and most of his work for 25 years was working with fuel cells, also at RPI. You're going to hear me talk a lot about RPI. And his message to me was,
Ron, I just want to tell you, it's a 6 minutes presentation. So,
oh, it is?
yes.
My son never told me that. Okay. So anyway, let's fast forward to knowing that there's patents that have to be addressed. I took care of all those necessities, and I started. My first project for a prototype was at RPI. I picked grad students and students at Rensselaer Polytech. I had a choice to go to MIT. The first prototype was put together after a year, and it worked. I was so happy, but the happiness just lasted a little while, and I went into pause mode. Not only did the unit work, but it worked in a vehicle, only for a short period of time, and then it kind of smoked itself out. But I knew it did work. That is when I took a little bit of a pause on going forward with the project. So I was in pause. It was money being spent for patents and prototypes. During that pause, my daughter had an accident, and it was due to distracted driving, using her cell phone. That motivated me more. Came to Florida, picked out another company in Tampa called Mobile Rugged Technologies. They put together another prototype, and then from there, I was happy with that, but it still wasn't what we wanted. And then I moved to another company in North Carolina called Inventus that assisted startups, and they put another unit together for me. And then from there, we moved now to Lansing, Michigan with the real deal manufacturer called Electronics, and they are now putting together, and we're expecting to have our first production runs at the end of the year, and we're delighted. We have another company called Hope Run that is doing all the software. So basically the bottom line is it's an awful lot of hard work, and you need to have people on your team. And fortunately, I have my son, like I said, at the early stages, come into the company and run the company, because you need somebody 24/7 to work with you that is always on the job and has the tenacity to put other things on the back burner and stay focused on what your company is all about. I think I'm pretty much going over the 6 minutes.
You may want to go real quickly to what it does so we can ask your questions about it.
Yeah. So basically what the unit does is it's looking for you as a driver with your cell phone. When you get into your vehicle, it recognizes your phone, you put it in our locker component. Only then will the vehicle start. It locks it away, destination, you shut the vehicle off, and then the unit opens and you're allowed to use the cell phone. It does not prevent you from using smart technology in cars or Bluetooth, but it does prevent you from actually holding onto the phone, seeing where the phone is, and using the phone. Basically, that's what the unit does. We're coming out, and we've collaborated with another company called Geotab that does GPSs. So there's more that's going to be involved with our unit as we get our first production run. We are extremely excited to have, again, Electronics being our manufacturer for the unit. We're excited about having a company called Hope Run in Massachusetts do all the software behind it that has an integration with Geotab and GPS. And we're delighted about that the unit, bottom line, will save lives and protect property and liability in fleets and in the private sector. Thank you.
If anybody has a question, please raise your hand and we'll get around with the mic. See if we can get one in the back.
Sounds like a great project. I have a small question. Were you aware of Apple CarPlay?
Pardon me?
Apple's CarPlay.
Yes.
How does it, as you know, basically, it basically makes your phone up.
Right. I understand. The question has to do with an app that's out there, and also on my website. One thing as an entrepreneur and having a website, you always incorporate your competitors. You have to know all about who your competitors are. Ours are the apps, and this is something that can be overridden, and it can be something that can be where people can actually find a way to bypass it themselves. So you still have access to the phone. And there are those companies that are out there, along with self-control and mobile agents mobility. So again, it's about knowing your competitors, and they do have a product. Only the bypass is not what even trucking companies are looking for, because their drivers are being able to circumvent what the process was and what the ownership was that the company invested in such a company as apps, and even as much as self-control. Self-control being a unit that actually you put on your windshield, and it works almost like a satellite TV, but in bad weather, going under bridges, it could be a moment of stress for the driver that his phone then becomes operable. So again, it's knowing your competitors, and on our website you'll see them all listed along with that company, and what they offer versus what our company offers.
Basically, you lock away your car, your phone in the car like a dock, and then you just start, and then it goes, right? Can you explain more about how you're gonna do that?
Well, it's as simple as you going into your vehicle and where you store it now. Unfortunately, you find a cup holder or a little din, or you even put it on the seat. And even looking for your phone has caused a multitude of accidents throughout the country. Not so much using the phone, but where is the phone has caused accidents. And we keep a real strong record of everything coming in on a daily basis all over the country for accidents, either using the phone or that the phone was involved some way, shape, or form. The unit is a visual unit that manually no longer has you holding on to the phone or wondering where the phone is, or you able to hold on to it and look at it and use it. It's that simple. But you can also use the smart technology and Bluetooth to talk, hands-free. You know, again, a thought comes through that 36 years with the phone company, when I went to work for the company, it was the number one priority was safety. It was always about safety. And then every 2 years we had a driver training course. There's no way, shape, or form. I'm old school. You get in a vehicle, it's 2 hands on a wheel, mirror checks. Today's environment, you get into the car and it's, where's my cell phone? Because you got to be able to talk and hold on to the wheel and do all kinds of things. That's not playing by the rules. It's not playing by the law either. So it goes back to safety, rules, law, which is now being implemented in most of the states.
Do you guys already have any sales, and who are the target customers?
You know, my first priority at the very beginning of this was the private sector and saving young people's lives. And as I started, we had to make a change and go into the fleet industry, because that's where the money is. For me, it was never about money when I first started, but now it has to be, because I have to protect my investors for their return on what we do. So the fleets is where we've attacked. These first run of units that are going to be manufactured in Lansing will be first-rate prototypes that will be able to be certified and will go into the trucks. And basically that's
We've attacked the trucking industry, and we have a company called Cintas that's in, that wants as many units as we can get them at the get-go. So there'll be companies, and there's other companies. We're working with a company called Utilimaster. It's one of the biggest installers throughout the country. It works with FedEx. It actually works for Verizon, my company, UPS, and many, many others. But it's about us getting the product out there, being very capable that we're not going to shoot ourselves in the foot with the unit, which we've been very cautious doing. That's why it took 8 years from one prototype to another, tweaking it. And so the answer to your question is fleets, protecting liability for fleets because they have rules and regulations. As soon as we can get into the private sector, of course, I'm going to make a move to get there. And my target would be parents. I know everybody in this room is going to go out and probably this afternoon use your phone while you're driving. It's just the way it is. Because it becomes such a habit that it's a hard one to break. Fleets is where we're headed at the very beginning here, before the end of the year and into the first quarter, and I want to get into the private sector as soon as possible. Yes?
So I'm a parent of a teen driver, so I love this idea. What would be the anticipated cost though? How much would it cost me to get that installed, and what are the steps with that?
Right. Our unit is for every cell phone out there. Not any one of our competitors is actually going to say that to answer one of the questions with the apps. So it's every phone. I don't have my phone's in the car. So I don't bring it to meetings. I don't bring it anywhere. Again, old school. So for your daughter, okay, we're looking at a price range, even for the trucking industry, about $200. It's about a 30 to 45 minute install. And the average install is about $100 per hour for an installer to do it. So you're at about $300, and I know we've all bought things for our kids that are like $400 or $500, and they could be as far as some kind of a unit that they would have tunes on that they use for probably less than 12 months, and then you find it somewhere in a drawer, like an old utensil, and you paid $400 for it. So I'm very proud to know that our market base is so low. And we're looking at a manufacturing cost for the unit right now out of the gate, somewhere between $60 and $70. So there's a margin there too that everybody has to look at for a product that you're producing and selling.
Can I ask you one quick question
Sure.
before we go on to the next? You said that this prevents the car from starting if you don't put your phone in there.
Correct. Once it's installed.
Yeah. Well, just to put devil's advocate, what if I lose my phone? Am I stranded?
No, no, you're not. It actually can be programmed. It can be programmed for, let's say, for your daughter. You could have it. You're the administrator of the unit. So again, I talked about earlier about a GeoTab connection that we have. So actually, on your computer, you can program it to do one time and one time only that she had lost her phone or a reason why she couldn't start it, and she could have an access code for that one time. Then she'd have to come back to mom. Same thing with the trucking industry, okay? But it's interesting you say it. You know, today's environment, I've been doing this for 8 years, the last thing you're gonna do is what? Lose your phone. You're gonna lose your keys before you lose that phone.
Okay, I have a legitimate question right here.
Oh, I like the legitimate.
So it has to be professionally installed?
This is again getting back to when you have, especially when you have a unit that goes into an auto, okay, you want to have professional installers. It doesn't necessarily mean that that you couldn't put it in, but like any product, even a remote car starter, most of us would go to a dealership that sells the units that you know it's going to be installed the right way. But between me and you, any person that has a little auto skills could actually install it. There's an umbilical cord. It's very easy to wire up. But we're choosing a route that especially in the private sector where they'd be given a card to go to a dealership that's close to them that has been certified to install the unit.
So that's what you're looking for, like auto dealerships or things like that to do the installations?
Well, the company of choice for the fleets is called Utilimaster, and they've been with us for a number of years now, waiting for us to get to where we are. It's been a long journey for them, but they stood by our side, and I think for all the right reasons because of
what they see for the potential of installs moving forward in the vehicles, and to protect the fleets and the liability that's out there for truck drivers. So professionally installed, about a 30 to 45 minute install, max.
And this gentleman had a question. Is there an insurance benefit?
Like any new product, we're going to believe that there's going to be. Okay. Significantly at the very beginning, like anything, the unit without your phone, you can't start the vehicle. So it kind of comes into the scope of that it's a unit that helps deter auto theft. So certainly that is of assistance, but it will require a new underwriting for the insurance companies, and we do have contacts with them. But again, like everybody wants to see the unit and they want to see the success, and then they'll be there. Our hopes are that in the early stages here, some of the insurance companies that we've contacted, they're going to come in here very shortly and sponsor us before we get to the finish line, and show that they're the company that kind of assisted a startup company get to the finish line before we got to the finish line.
Okay. Yeah, the whole time I was really trying to think what your distribution channels were and what you had put in motion. I had a phone call today from a friend because I have a referral form, and they're the second largest purchaser of motor oil in Florida. And it's yourlubricationlocation.com. And that's just to give you the name of the lead. I can introduce you to Zach Zeller, the CEO. But they're already doing all the large fleets. And whether it's Enterprise and their 44 locations here locally, and the largest in the world being at the Orlando Airport. But all of the big trucking companies, they're already in there. So how are you looking to connect the dot from them to you?
For the companies that have already been down that road, and we've proven that with Geotab being one of they're the Google of GPSs. So we use their cloud base for the information, like I was saying, on the computer, where you can actually program it, and dock and lock logo will come up, and you can actually do driver behavior too. So besides that, besides taking the phone out, I left that element out. We're capable with the software to program. Driver behavior out there is so important that it's for gas mileage, gas consumption, when they shut it off. My unit can tell who the driver is, when the driver got in. They can take one driver from another vehicle, all by the administrator and by the computer. We've proven that Geotab, who has installed and used some of our competitors' devices like Geotab and Aegis Mobility and the cameras, have now come to us. And we've been invited to a number of their meetings. They just had one in Orlando here last year that we were invited to, and we were the only startup that was there. And so it's always refurbishing the fleet. It's always about safety. It's always about what is working and what the drivers are bypassing and still talking and texting on their phone after they spend an enormous amount of money with a company like Self Control or Aegis Mobility. And they're looking at our devices, though. I mean, this really solves the problem. It's locked away. And they can also do the driver behavior element with our unit, too, on the computer as a safety supervisor.
We have 60 more seconds. I think we have one last question over there.
I apologize, I came in a little late, so you may have already answered this, but I used to work with trucking companies to do their new ERP systems. And so we put all their navigation stuff, all of their where they were supposed to be next, all of that in their phones. If this is locked in a locker, are you basically saying that they can no longer do that?
If it's already programmed in their phones for navigation.
Well, there was navigation, but there was also, hey, here's your next delivery, and here's what you're going to, what you need to prep for. So, they would, if they're doing team drivers, they may have one of them that's saying, okay, our next delivery is at XYZ company. We were just at ABC. We're going to have these items. If that phone is now locked away in the dashboard,
it's locked away while he's driving. Sorry, until he gets to his destination. And from our experiences, Frito-Lay being one of them that wants to come on board, and some of their stops are 20 minutes. I mean, if their driver can't take care of business in that next 20-minute stop, he's not to do it while he's driving. Even though the company, believe me, I work for Verizon, safety number one. When I went and talked about safety, it was always number one. As soon as I left the room, it was about production. That's the way it works.
So that would be the answer to the question.
Well, thank you very much. Before we conclude, what can we as a community do right now to try to help you and forward your mission?
Well, hey, when you leave here today, there's always, even today when I had met some of the administrators here at the college, very interested in the product and about the concept of saving lives. So safety and saving lives, and even for yourself. Make an awareness to yourself when you're out there, when you leave today, and you're going to drive your vehicle, and think about it a little bit. About here's my phone, and how much easier it would be for me that I really don't need to do it, and it is the law that you don't text and drive, and basically talking on the phone, the same thing, that you can actually pull over and park your vehicle. And our unit, the second generation, is park or neutral. It will give you the same accessibility to your phone. And maybe buy the Bluetooth. But again, it's about an awareness of distracted driving. It is a killer.
Thank you very much. I'm going to step up and have our next presenter come up. Again, it's a 6 minutes presentation, 20 minutes Q&A. And if you're ready, Johnny, let's get the show on the road. Let's welcome our next presenter.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How you doing today?
Good.
Great. Well, I'm really excited to be here today because I know that we have a really good product that I want to show you all. I think you're going to find it very interesting. So let's get started. Plug and Share. What Plug and Share does is that we built a smart social platform. And what that means is that it was built so that you can use the product to, it works like your navigation system, a personal navigation system, if you can think of it. So it tells you where to go and what to avoid. So when you log on to Plug and Share, you have a capability to create a set of groups. And when you create a set of groups, you can invite your friend, family, and people that you know and trust, and share the same common ground with you, so that you can share the experience with them. And by sharing an experience, you'll be able to use their experience and your experience, so that you can avoid the pitfall that they made while enjoying the best thing that they enjoy. So the idea here is, why reinvent the wheel? Why go through all the trouble of finding information, searching on the internet, out on end, days to find information, while you can have the thoroughness research of someone that you know and trust. You find the information and filter down through their experience and now share it with you. And by doing that, you can think of it is that when you go to a restaurant, or it's like a friend referral to a friend. Like when you go to a restaurant, you try it, you eat a dish or something, and you really like it, so you go to your friend, you tell your friend, you refer to your friend, you said, hey, this is a real good place, I'm referring you to go to this place. Or if you go to a doctor, and that's a good doctor, and you refer your friend, or make a recommendation to your friend about this doctor, and that's where you need to go. Or also, if you go to a mechanic, or you go to a shop, and it's a worse place, so you want to tell your friend, don't go there. It's kind of an alert system. So instead of getting a referral or call your friend up and ask for this information, now we built an application so that you can go up there and upload your experience and share your experience, versus of calling someone up and doing that. So you can get access to this data across the globe, and wherever you want to go, and you still be able to access that information. So that's the goal here. So by doing that, you can save yourself a lot of money, headache, and frustration. and a lot of time, right? I mean, you guarantee to have the best result. You guarantee to have the best experience. And you guarantee to have the best life, the good life. Because you don't have to do all that stuff, all that work. And you don't have to lose all that money and time and headache and frustration to find that information. So let me show you how it works. So when you log on to Plug and Share, you have a capability to create collections of your experience. And these experiences can be anything that you can think of that add value to the people that you know and trust, or that add value to the people that you come together with. So you can create a collection of your business group, of people that you can come in contact with doing business, or you can create a collection of your recipe, your favorite local eatery, a shopping place, or anything that you can think of. And once you create that collection, you can actually upload the information. And the way to upload the information is that, let's say that you go to a restaurant and you eat at the restaurant. What you want to do is take your smartphone and take a picture of the particular dish that you eat. If you can find a receipt, a business card, or web link, that's even better. Plug and Share gives you the capability that you can upload any type of files. A web link, even a YouTube link, and also online documentation. So you can document your experience as you create your collection. And after you do that, you can actually set your rating, your price, and then give your comment. Like here, rating, price, and comment. So once you have your ratings, price, and comment, and then you have your collection, now you can share it to your friend, and you share it to your set group. And they too would go to this same place, and they would have their own comment, rating, and suggestion. And over time, what you're going to have is your collection of experience and your group collection of experience. And what you find out is sooner or later you have a large data bank of your own information, your precious and very valuable information here. And you can come back and search for it, and filter it, and find it. And we even have a recommendations section here that when you click on certain things, we filter all your friend experience and give you a recommendation where to go and what's the best place to go, not to go. And there's a view here that you can click on. It will tell you the best rating, the worst place, and the most liked. So let me show you a quick video so you can see how it works. That's it. Oh, just a couple more last thing. So why go through all the trouble of uploading information and put it into a collection. Why not just do what you used to do before? Well, here's a really simple answer. Well, you don't want to reinvent the wheel, and you don't want to do the thing that other people do. You want to save that hard-earned money, and you just want to save that time, frustration, and headache. So there you have it.
Thank you. Questions?
So I was a little confused at the beginning. Your logo threw me off with seeing a headphone jack. I was thinking that it was something with music sharing between people or something related to audio based on that. So just a little bit of a constructive feedback.
Thank you. Actually, I'd like to answer that if that's possible. Well, here's the idea. We came up with this idea because I moved down here to Florida, and I was looking for an insurance quote. And because I bought my new house, and I want to find an insurance quote, I'll look on the internet. I swear to God, I searched for a good couple of days trying to find that information. I got bunches of links, and I started calling the companies. I called probably about 5 or 6 companies, and they give me different quotes from different prices. And at the end of the day, I still don't know what I'm getting. So what I did was I started texting every one of my friends. I say, do you know anybody that have an insurance quote that I can buy for my house? Because I'm confused. So finally, one of my cousins came back and gave me the number that I called, so that gave me an information. So here's the deal. I was telling a story to this gentleman over here about how we come up with the idea. Have anybody in this room ever seen a movie called Matrix? Yeah. You did, right? So his idea with Matrix, right? The back of the movie was all about the connection with everybody. They would plug the plug onto the guy's head, and they download the information to his head, so now he can do different things. Even though he don't know how to fly a helicopter, he don't know how to do kung fu or karate or whatever it is in there. So here's the whole idea, is to plug that information and get everybody to share that experience, so that now, even though you don't know or you haven't been there, now you can get all that same information from everybody. How great is that? That's the most awesome thing, at least I think, is to be able to pick somebody's brain. And now it's fully available to you, and you don't have to be there. You don't have to waste all that time and precious information and go find that information. Now you can find it. It's easy. If that answers your question.
There's a question right here.
So it's a little unclear on how it's saving you money.
Oh, well, it saves you money in a lot of ways. Let's for example, if you go on a vacation. Like I went to vacation 3 times. I went to Bahamas, right? And 3 different times, the first time I don't know what I'm doing. So I went on a vacation, and I didn't know that they had this special club. If you sign up, you get a discount. And if I go, when I was in Bahamas, my first time, I was afraid to venture out. So I ended up going to all this excursion and wasting a lot of money. I mean, it wasn't great, you know. We went down to do some diving, and we did some snorkeling and stuff like that. It wasn't anything fun. But my third time when I go there, what I learned is that if I go out there, get a taxi, run a taxi cab, and then he started taking me around and showed me all this great place to go. So the idea here is that if you have all your friends who have already been to Bahamas, and they upload the information and share that experience, and now all you have to do is search for that information, wouldn't it be great that you don't have to spend all that money, all that time? Because you already spend what? On an average vacation for my family is about $2,500, and with all the excursion, about $3,000. Now I'm spending all that money, but I get half of the interesting stuff that I want. If my friends show me all this information, would it be nice? I'm saving all that money because I have the best vacation. I have the best experience.
So you're saving the money by not having to search for it yourself? Because I don't know that that person got the best deal.
Right. Well, you save the money because you don't use that money from. Yeah, you save the money because you don't spend the money where you don't get what you want. Now you pay for the money, or you don't have. Like, let's for example, if you go to a doctor and get a surgery, right? And the surgery can cost like $20,000, $30,000, $100,000. And for example, my dad, who had a back surgery, he got a car land on him because he's a mechanic, and it hurt his back really bad. So what he ended up is went to a first doctor, and this doctor said, well, I'm gonna have to put 2 bolts and a clip, and I'm gonna hold your back up, and this is gonna cost you X amount of dollars. So he went to a couple more doctors, because he's afraid of getting a surgery, went to a couple more doctors, and he couldn't find anybody. And he was in pain. Every day, he couldn't sit on a chair, he couldn't lay in bed, and he had to sit like that. Just to kind of give you an example. So one of his friends told him about this doctor. So he went to this particular doctor, and they looked at him, and they did an x-ray, and they come back, and the doctor said, well, all I need to do is your schematic vein is hurting you. All I have to do is to drill a bigger hole so that vein doesn't hit that bone, and you'll be fine. And he's fixed for good. Imagine how much money you save from that. Does that kind of give you an idea? Thank you.
Any other questions? I have a question. How do you monetize this? How, is there a way for you to do this, or is it just nonprofit? How do you plan on doing that?
Well, there's a lot of different ways how we can monetize. The way how we set up the website was that in the middle is that we have all the collection and all the files is being posted. And when the user go into create their collection, it's filtered down to the interest area and a specific collection name. And then the file that they uploaded have a name. So in that area, when the user click onto that area, we can actually post it to a specific business that handles that specific product. Let's say he click on a restaurant, and then that will tailor down to a certain restaurant. For example, if Italian food, it can go to an Italian restaurant, and then we would get a percent of some 25 cents or 30 cents for every click that we route to that company. And on the right hand side is when we filter the data, we can also put an ad and different things on there to actually make more money that way. But right now, we're not monetizing. We actually given out to all the users 5 gig free, and we were thinking about just give it to the user free unless you upload a large video. Then we're gonna have to tie it down and charge you. But it's free for now. It's very easy to use. It have a lot of different features that you can use. So I hope you try it out.
Any other questions from the audience?
So, first thing I'm wondering, how are you going to compete against some of the companies out there like Yelp, who already has millions of people putting their own reviews on thousands and thousands of different companies out there?
Right. Yes, that is one of the challenges that we're gonna face. But I think we had a very good business model here, and here's the answer. What you go to Yelp is that you get a general population recommendation and suggestion and rating. And Yelp, if you read their wiki page, they did a survey, and 50% of the Yelp rating are fake rating. And some of the businesses actually pay their people or other people to actually give them a rating, or anybody who have a web account or email account can actually go in there and put a rating. How safety is that rating? How value is that rating? It doesn't have much value. Now I can see that there's a lot of people who go out there and give a rating, and then you probably have a better chance of seeing it. But if you have a mom and pop shop or a small shop, you hardly have that much rating. So that's one thing. And the other thing is that, you know, when we built this thing, it's more for a family, individual, the people that you come in contact, your inner circle, your friends and family, who you trust and who you care, who you want to help. Is that what you want to do? Is to come in and use the website to help the people around you. So, and that's our key strategic of getting our customer and user.
So I really like the idea of seeing reviews from people you know, because it's the same when I go on Yelp or TripAdvisor, I never know is this a very picky person, or so I never know, like, would I agree with what it says. So I like the idea of knowing what your friends say about a restaurant or a hotel. So here's an idea for you. Can you plug in my TripAdvisor profile, my Yelp profile into your social media, so I don't have to rewrite my reviews, but I can see if my cousin Tom has a Yelp profile, I go in there and see all his reviews of all the online restaurants. So could you connect me with my other social medias?
Thank you very much for that advice, and I think that's a very good idea. And we are looking for API coming out from Yelp and TripAdvisor, and if they do have that, and then we're gonna try to pull in that information and populate it into our plug and share website, along with the friend and special friend and user who actually upload that information. But yes, that is one of the directions that we hope to go also, is to pull in that information, to give our user a much better view and value of the data that they're seeking to see.
So I can connect to my friends, and I can also connect to my friends and I can see their Yelp profile reviews of all the restaurants or their TripAdvisors, or I think that would really help. That would give me a
Absolutely.
really good benefit.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Question on the middle.
What platforms are you going to support? Are you going to have any mobile capability?
Yes, we are. Right now we have a web capability, which is PC, but you can actually see it from a mobile or even on your iPad. You just have to grab it and enlarge it a little bit. But we headed down to a mobile direction, so you can probably look at it, or it may come out within the next 3 to 6 months, and we're working toward getting our mobile product in place. But right now, you can actually see it. You'll be able to log on using the mobile device, and you'll be able to see the plug and collection and upload your information as well.
So in the spirit and heart of 1 million cups, what can we do as an audience and to help you kind of go further with what you're doing?
With that? Yes, we're looking forward to the community to help us out. At least, come in and try out the website. And I think you're going to find it very valuable to yourself and to the people around you, and also help us to put the word out, and then tell your friends and your family and the business that you run. And also, we're looking for a marketing director. As you can tell, I'm not a very good speaker, standing up here and getting all nervous, but if I can find someone to help me to market our product and brand our product, it will be very helpful. So our website is www.plug, P-L-U-G, with S with a plural, S, and A-N-D, share, S-H-A-R-E.com. So, come in and give it a try, and I think you're going to find it very useful.
Thank you so much.